Okay, so we're going to go around the horn. 5 games that we're really looking forward to in 2018. Hell of a year. Suriel Vazquez, what are you looking forward to, man?
Wait, which way are we going? 5 to 1?
5 to 1.
Yep.
Okay.
So my number 5 is War Games, the next game from Her Story creator Sam Barlow.
Huh?
Wow.
Love it.
Well, technically it's hashtag War Games, but I don't.
I'm mad they did that.
Yeah,
Just
it's
never
not.
hashtag
Well, is
anything.
Matthew Broderick in it?
No, but it is based on that license. Actually,
Yeah.
it is based on the War Games license.
It's a
So
licensed
they're
game.
bringing it back in video game form.
Is it going to be the same style and structure as Her Story?
I believe it is. I don't know about the same structure, but it is going to be like an FMV interactive kind of thing. Whereas
That's awesome. Wait, okay, but War Games.
You got to change your list?
I completely forgot about this. I'm trying to remember. War Games, they're like talking to a computer, right?
Yeah, it's like, would you like to play a game?
So is it just gonna be
Thermal
like,
nuclear war, right? Thermal.
I think they were
it was,
reimagining
there was some nuclear war stuff
for
going on, I think,
this time. Which, God, could be really interesting considering all that's going on in our country
Whopper.
right
why?
now.
What's happening? What do you mean? No, yeah. So how does
The
it
computer,
work?
the computer was named Whopper.
That's true.
So you're going to be like, in theory, typing and communicating with this AI about nuclear war?
They haven't said much about what the game is, how the game is actually going to
I
be
actually
structured.
interviewed him about this, and I
Oh.
can't remember because the interview was so long ago, but he gave me like details. It just seemed like it's going to be more interactive choice.
Yeah.
I wish I remembered more right now as we're podcasting.
I really
I should
wonder
look it up.
that Sam Barlow, that guy, Her Story is so good, but how much of the charm and appeal of that is just that completely unique structure?
Yeah.
It's a Driver San Francisco situation where it's very tough to replicate what's great about that experience. Could you do it literally in a Her Story style where you're just typing in keywords for the computer to recognize?
I think you could, but I'm less sort of concerned about like emulating the structure, and I think Sam Barlow has a pretty good track record. Like before that, he made Silent Hill: Shattered Memories, which is like one of my favorite Silent Hill games, just because of how well they managed to do horror without sort of like going into sort of the clunky combat aspects of Silent Hill.
Yeah.
So like I am excited for this, mostly on his track record with me so far. I really like Silent Hill. I really liked Her Story. It was like it was an awesome like way to spend 2 hours and learn more about the past, but War Games I think is definitely seems like a game that is up my alley, even though I don't really have much appreciation for the movie War Games.
Have you seen the film?
Once. When
Okay.
I was very young, so I don't remember much of it.
Okay.
Isn't there a second one and it's awful?
Is there a War Games 2?
I thought there was.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
Direct to sci-fi, maybe?
I do love that
Maybe.
trend, though,
Now I
of
have
these
to know.
long
I have
dormant
to know.
films,
Yeah.
Hold on.
like coming back in the form of a
This is why
game.
we keep the phone in the lap. Hold on.
That's not why we
What?
keep
I have
phones.
mine right here.
No,
Okay,
I
come
keep
on,
it
guys.
so I don't forget
Phones.
my
list.
My
It's a
list is on
podcast.
I'm
here.
just wondering if
All
there's
right.
a War Games 2. This is going to drive me nuts.
Okay, Kim.
War Games, the Dead Code? What the heck?
Yeah,
is
that's
this?
it. Actually, that's the sequel.
Hey,
All right.
Reiner, speaking
Yeah.
of your phone, what's your number 5, man?
I have 2. I have a tie.
Oh, boy.
God,
He doesn't like
really?
ties. He gets
Really
very
pushing
angry.
it. If
Yeah.
someone has 2 games that are number 5, I think consider that outrageous.
Okay, the real one
Yeah.
is
That's the one we'd prefer.
Pokemon for Switch.
You're out of your mind. There's no way it's coming out in 2018.
They list it as 2018 or later.
Yeah, I wonder which is
So
gonna
between
be.
now and the end of humanity, of time as we know it, there
There's
could be a
an-
I
Pokemon
like
game.
that they put an
There's an
or
or.
later caveat on
The
it. That
or
was very
means
nice.
2018 or later. So I'm hanging
What
on
game
that.
has ever been finished above schedule? You know? Is that the way to phrase
Ahead
that?
of
War
schedule.
Games.
Ahead of schedule. Thank
Yeah.
you.
War Games.
War Games is coming out.
Yeah, that was going to be
soon.
2020, but it's going to be this year now.
Okay, Reiner, do you really think
Mhm.
Pokemon is coming out in 2018?
Yeah, I look at the
Ooh.
Switch schedule, and what do they
They
have
need
for the fall? It would be the perfect game. Like, you don't have Mario, you don't have Zelda this
Mhm,
year.
That's true.
What game would be better than that?
Smash
Pokemon
Brothers.
would be the biggest thing ever on Switch.
It's going to be Pokemon Warriors. Koei Tecmo is going to
Oh,
make it.
yeah.
Honestly, would you want to make a bet on whether that's coming out?
Yeah.
How much?
A lunch.
Let's just go like
You have
$20.
to go to lunch
You
with me.
always
Oh
want to
my
get money out of people,
That's
man.
he either gives you $20 or you have to go to lunch.
Oh, Christ. Okay, what's your fake one then, if that's the real one?
Anthem from Bioware.
That's
And
mine.
that's either like I'm really excited to play it or I want to watch the dumpster fire of EA microtransactions.
So that's
transactions.
actually my number 4.
Oh.
Because I think it, like, I liked what I saw of the footage, but we haven't seen enough of that game to really make a decision one way. What I like about it is I think it's time BioWare did something outside of Mass Effect and Dragon Age, and just I think that's good for creativity in general, and them not being like, you know, stuck in those series trying to work within those confinements and do something completely fresh. I think that will be interesting. Now, I am nervous about it based on you know, recent developments with EA.
Hey, but Casey Hudson's back. So
I don't know how much difference one person can really have, but
I mean, what we saw
got
at
nice
E3
hair.
looked really cool. It got me excited for it.
So, yeah, for me, the reason I put that there is it looks like build your own Iron Man game on an alien world.
Yeah.
And that's freaking cool. So
Yeah.
that's why I put that there.
I think
Hopefully they can deliver.
my big reservation with it is that it seemed like the demo that we saw at E3. It seemed like I think people sort of saw it as like BioWare trying to do Destiny
100%.
stuff. And I feel like that sort of very like repetitive. Let's you know, here's your character and make them stronger by doing these actions. It seems sort of not as conducive to their strengths, which is like characters and storytelling. So I wonder what the balance of that will be. So that's why I didn't make my list. But I am excited for what they, you know, whatever they end up showing eventually.
And we're all feeling confident in 2018?
As confident as Pokemon.
Well, you know, EA doesn't have a huge history of letting certain titles slip out of the years that they have planned for it, even when sometimes maybe they should.
Right. Andromeda should
Yeah.
come out in 2025.
You,
I think.
Or like
you know,
pushing,
like
not pushing Titanfall.
I think they will set a hard deadline on that, and we'll get it in 2018. Now, when, I don't know.
I could see it being a big fall game. I'm excited to
Yeah,
see
I
it.
could see it fall.
Yeah.
That sounded bad.
That and Pokemon right there.
You're out of your mind, Reiner.
Well,
All
what
right.
else do they have? I mean, Metroid's not coming this year. They put
No.
that as TBA now.
No.
I don't know. Maybe we
A
should
Smash?
stay tuned. I think a Smash Port's totally coming in the fall.
Sorry.
Maybe there's a Switch game
Brothers
on my list, Reiner, that we can
port?
get to in a bit.
Smash
But,
Brothers port?
Suriel
Yeah.
also
Okay.
brings up something that I'm worried about as well. Is I want this to still be like trademark BioWare with the narrative-driven stuff, and I just don't know how much of that is going to be there or not. And
Well-
they've kind of talked both ways on it. Like one minute they were like, yeah, it's going to have all the storytelling that BioWare is known for. And then I read another interview where they're like, well, it's not as much story.
Story schmory.
Yeah, it's like I can't figure out. You know, it's a hard game to really pin down at this point what it
Yeah.
is or what
We've
it's
got these
gonna be.
Anthem cards, and if you go on our website, you can read the lore after you
Oh.
collect
Oh,
them in the
gosh,
game.
no.
Well, what
I
about
like it?
I mean, Kim, I don't know if you played Old Republic, but that's an interesting model to look at, like those co-op missions for
Yeah.
just to get a flavor of what BioWare can do in the co-op space.
That is true.
So they have some experience with that,
Yeah.
you know. But Kim, number 5.
Valkyria Chronicles 4.
There
is
we
that?
go. Did they have a release date for that? Have they said
It's a
fall?
2018.
2018 in general?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't think they.
I'm
they
surprised
might
it's
have.
so quick after Revolution, actually.
Well, I want to forget about Revolution. Revolution doesn't count.
It
okay.
wasn't televised on my TV, I tell you that much.
But I think it's great that I was worried that Revolution was going to kill the series, to be honest with you, because it
Yeah.
was not great. And I love that first game so much, and the fact that we never got, you know, the third one still bothers me.
It's a confusing gap now.
Yeah, it
Mhm.
is for North America, anyways. But I would love to see it. It's going back on the big screen again, PlayStation 4. So that's nice because before they were just making them on PSP.
Right.
So
right,
it's
right.
like it's time to see it on there. And I think with a large scale game, again, it'll be interesting to see what they can do because I love that game to pieces.
I'm
so.
trying to remember with Valkyria Chronicles. Is it like XCOM or is it like Codename Steam? Like, can you move a little bit or is it completely turn-based?
No,
It's
you
more like
move.
in Codename Steam, where
Yeah.
you
It's
pick a
real
character
time.
and you move them a set
Yeah.
distance, and then you can fire at somebody.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's exciting. Good one, Kim. You really did it.
I did it.
For my number 5, I have 2 choices. It's a tie.
Wait, you just told.
Tell us the fake one first this time.
Okay,
though.
all right. The fake one is a remaster. Fake one is the Age of Empires 1 remaster. That game means a ton to me, and I'm so excited just to have an avalanche of nostalgia hit me in the face playing
Cool.
that.
See, I
thing.
thought that was already out, but I guess not.
They said it was coming out
Oh, okay.
for Age of Empires anniversary, which was last year, and then they slipped out of the anniversary
Okay.
for the remaster.
Is it
And
ever
it's still-
coming?
They say, yeah, early 2018, so we'll see. But my real one then ties into this game as well, because this is an Age of Empires inspired RTS called Empires Apart. It's from this indie team called Destiny Bit. And I just love seeing an indie studio tackling an RTS and especially like specifically honing in on early Age of Empires for their inspiration. Really looks like Age of Empires 1 specifically. And so it's funny that both these are going to be coming out in the same year, but we'll see how it goes. Empires Apart.
Yeah. I like the idea of building a game specifically tailored around Age of the Empires just because I feel like that series eventually spun off into the 4X series where it just became so much more massive and about different aspects of your civilization and stuff that it kind of got away. Like, it felt Age of the Empires now feels like an arcadey version of that.
I gotta cut you off. You're saying Age of the Empires.
Age of Empires.
Thank you, Suriel. We're gonna jump across that table. Yeah, so you're just talking about the Age of Empires 3 stuff. It just got to like the home city nonsense and all that. But like getting back to like core RTS.
Yeah, I think that could be cool.
Yeah, you're an Age of Empires 1 guy, right?
2.
2. Okay, naturally.
Ooh.
Real
Big
right.
rift
We're gonna
over
have to
here.
fight.
Yeah.
Tearing us
That's why
apart.
we're at opposite ends of the table. It's just we couldn't stop fighting about Age of Empires.
Let me at him. Suriel, number 4.
My number 4 is Soul Calibur 6.
Wow.
Why?
Okay.
I think playing Tekken 7 last year, I remember that I enjoyed the sort of the 3D fighting aspect of it, and I remembered like I don't know, it feels like there's something missing, and then I realized, oh right, it's because I've played like way more Soul Calibur than I ever did Tekken, and the part that was missing was the part where everyone had a sword. But I've sort of remembered in recent years how much Soul Calibur I've played. Like I've played a ton of 2, played a lot of 3, and played a ton of 4 actually, just because it was the only one you could play on 360. Didn't play as much of 5, but that's a series that I have kept up with, and I like the idea of them sort of going back to basics and having sort of they have like this sort of like universal parry where if you see an attack coming, you can basically immediately like sort of reverse it and basically beat it, but they said there's going to be some limitation on it, so you can't always just spam that one move and win all the time. But I'm excited about Soul Calibur on next gen consoles.
Yeah, it's interesting just seeing when 5 came out. When was that? A couple years ago?
Yeah, it was 5 was like end of the 360 PS3 life cycle.
Is that when Yoda won the tournament?
No, that's the one where Ezio was in it.
Oh,
Yeah, he ended up winning after all that. But I feel like it hasn't been that long. It only takes a couple years for a series to go away and then come back, and there's just this whole new wave of enthusiasm. Like Soul Calibur 5, it felt like it's one of those things like, yeah, okay, another one of these, and then just a couple years away, and now suddenly people are like, I've always loved Soul Calibur, give me 6.
I think it's because it's so unexpected whenever something's I remember when the announcement went, everyone's like, oh my gosh, it's still a thing, it's still going, like that just hypes people
I feel like
up.
just this being the first Soul Calibur game on new consoles, I feel is enough of a thing where it's like it's been gone long enough on this generation of consoles that people haven't gone back to the PS3 or whatever and played it. So like just seeing this, it does feel like a revival. It feels long enough to be like a revival.
Okay, so if Tekken 7 has Noctis, what guest characters are left for Soul Calibur 6?
I don't know. I mean, they
Lucky.
Yeah, Lucky's tail. Yeah,
That classic figure.
he can just wield his tail as a weapon. I mean, they do have sort of the line open to SNK and Capcom at this point, so it's like not crazy to assume that they'll keep doing characters like that. If they want to go with SNK, they can do characters from Samurai Showdown. I think would fit that universe perfectly. Like having Galford, summon his attack dog. I think would be pretty. You guys all know Galford, right?
Galford.
Yeah, Galford.
I think
And
I've been there
Hanzo.
in England. What about
Go ahead.
What about this one, Suriel? What if they get Kid Goku in there with the power pole?
That would be super cool. I love Kid Goku a lot, so that would. I mean, they are basically under the same company, right? Like Bandai Namco. So,
but like would that art style work at all?
oh man, actually, now that I think about it, maybe not. unless they just go like full like this character is not in any way compatible with the rest of these characters. I would not want to see a realistic looking Kid Goku.
Oh,
like I've seen
that'd be
it.
creepy.
It's so many character creators, and
Yeah.
it's always a nightmare. Otherwise, it's probably just gonna be Pac-Man, right?
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
with a sword that comes out of his mouth. He just has
Reiner.
teeth in this one, naturally. Teeth blades.
Reiner number 4, man.
I have a tie.
What is this?
You just like pack 10 games into 5
Yeah.
slots. Is that what you
Let's
did?
say it's like Light and Dark World.
Okay.
Okay.
I got Monster Hunter World
Okay.
as one. What? Guys, come
What's
on.
the other one? Well,
You hunt
I
dinosaurs.
mean, you know what? I was gonna replace that with Anthem since you picked Anthem, and now you just.
You can't replace anything, Kim.
No,
this is
I was
locked
going
in.
to. All
I
right.
didn't
hunt
put it on my
dinosaurs.
list because I figured it would make yours, so we can just talk about it. Anyway.
I'm looking forward to it a lot, Reiner. I'm just kind of dismayed at your tie situation. But yes, Monster Hunter World coming out end of January, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
so soon.
Yeah.
Very soon.
It is going to be exciting. We might even talk about it later in the show a little bit. But yeah, absolutely. Having it on PS4, you're going to be playing on Xbox One, of
in
course.
4K, 60
Yeah.
frames, with all my buddies.
Yeah.
Dinosaurs.
I'm really happy that I'm also looking forward to this game. After going on that cover story trip and spending 2 days playing the game, through
Is it
those
on your
beginning
list?
sections, it's not.
Well, then you're not really looking forward to
It's
it
not
that
top
much.
5
Not that
looking
much.
forward to it.
Yeah.
But I was shocked by how approachable it is.
It was like my number 6. So
Sure.
Good
sure.
answer.
All right. That's a good one, Reiner.
Yeah, I just won't say my other pick then.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. What's your
'Cause
other
you
light
tied.
world one?
you cheating.
Ni no Kuni 2.
Oh, here we go. Old wounds with Kim. Here we
No,
go.
I previewed the second game at TGS, and I liked a lot of the improvements to it. I felt like it's a good direction for the series to go.
You sound really enthused about it.
I am. You just made it super awkward, though. So it's like, gosh.
I adored the first one.
Yeah.
Whereas Kim thought the first one was okay.
Yeah.
Everybody says she hated it, but she thought
Right.
it was
I did.
okay.
I
Exactly.
just thought it had issues, level
course.
5 issues that
So-
have been going on for a while.
I know Studio Ghibli is not fully involved. There's people that left that studio
Mhm.
that went to Namco or whatever, the development team. So it still has some of those chops involved
Yeah.
in it. But the new direction they're going in, I think, looks awesome.
And with that kind of overblood history, I mean, because I
Oh,
think
man.
the overblood, I think
It's like the head of the studio, right?
God, Kyle in the booth, help me out. Is he
Kyle in
directing
the
Ni no
booth.
Kuni 2? Yeah, so it's Overblood 2's director
Yeah.
making Ni no
Yeah.
Kuni 2. And
That's
that game
exactly what
turned out
everybody
great.
wants.
Yes,
Yeah.
finally. Oh my God.
All right, Kim.
Caber number 4, we already talked about.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
You
but
get
I
a-
can go to my number 3 then, right?
No.
Nope.
Why the heck do I get...
You talked about Anthem. You're
Yeah.
good. All right, number 4 for me. This game, Reiner, might fill in that fall Nintendo Switch slot, Yoshi, as it's called.
Oh, man.
Ambiguous Yoshi game from Good Feel, developers of the last Yoshi game and also Kirby's Epic Yarn. I still think that last Yoshi game, second best Yoshi
Woolly World.
platformer. Thank you.
With or without Poochie, though.
Get Poochie the hell out of there. I don't want to near it. I actually didn't play it on 3DS, just on Wii U. But you forget how much of this game they showed. They had like a 1.5 minute long trailer that maybe because it doesn't have a name, people forgot about quickly.
Yeah, it's just Yoshi.
Yeah, stop
I'd
with
rather
the
have
working
the Kirby
titles.
game.
Well, they are also making ambiguous Kirby, so
Yeah.
we have that to look forward to.
Crossover series, ambiguous.
I mean, it was going to be called Octopath Traveler, but then they just had to change it to Yoshi.
Yeah,
Just put
yeah,
Yoshi in
take
it.
it.
We'll be fine.
That's true. But they're going for more of like a 2.5D perspective with this Yoshi and the footage they've shown so far. It's a lot of like messing around with the background environment, going back there and whatnot, and throwing eggs towards the camera, which is revolutionary for Yoshi. So, platforming is something to look forward to.
Is
on
it
the
still
Switch.
all like yarny, or is it?
Yeah.
Did they? What's okay? So it's that same sort of art style, but with
It
like a more
is.
2D perspective.
Still
Okay.
looks good.
Yeah.
Hope you like flutes for a soundtrack because you're going
I
to do a lot of
do. I love a good flute.
it. Hey,
You know
brother.
me.
Suriel, number 3.
My number 3 is No More Heroes. Travis Strikes Again.
Wow. Is this a Switch exclusive?
They've only announced it for Switch.
So
Okay.
far, yeah.
But I'm pretty sure they said 2018, but I could be wrong. But it's not higher. I think normally like the next sort of, because Suda is back in the director's chair for this one because he has a weird history because the last game he directed was the first No More Heroes, I believe, and then he sort of helped with other projects at Grasshopper like Shadows of the Damned, but those were directed by other people, and so like this is like the first game he's directed in 10 years. So I like normally that would be like my number 1 because I love Suda, but I'm a little sort of trepidatious about sort of the structure. So it's supposed to be sort of half like No More Heroes, half sort of retro game, sort of like obsessive kind of thing where they
Obsessive.
like the first trailer had Hotline Miami in it, and like there was someone playing Hotline
Literally?
Miami. Yes, like they had the song, they had like one of the songs, and someone was playing Hotline Miami in it, and the idea is that he's being warped into this retro game world with one of the villains. And so at least a big part of the game is going to be you playing sort of like indie games that look kind of retro, like Hotline Miami in various challenges. So I'm not sure how much of that game
Weird.
that will be versus like, because I like the way No More Heroes plays. I like the first one and
Yeah.
the second one I think was better. But so I'm curious to see what the split there is. If I'm just gonna play like 6 indie games that I've already played, it's gonna be a little weird.
Yeah, it sounds like a mess.
That sounds interesting though. It sounds
right.
like
Conceptually, it's interesting. But like I'm, but there's always sort of like tinge of like, is this gonna be one of those things that's like, from an idea perspective, really cool, but then when they execute on it, it's just kind of clunky or whatever. Because that is another thing of Suda's. But
it sounds like Retro Game Challenge on the DS, right?
Yes.
Except you're playing modern.
Except
indie
I'm
games.
rated, basically.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I'm super excited for that. I'm like number 1 curious, number 3 excited.
I've always considered you number 1 curious. Reiner, what's next, man?
So I had ties for all of them.
Oh my god!
And I thought I could get away with it.
No!
I thought I could get away with it.
No!
Skip
But
over me.
Choose one.
I can choose one,
Okay.
and then after we're done, I'll tell you the other one.
All right, that sounds good.
Wouldn't
I have
it
like
make
30
sense that like if you have a
overflow.
tie for number 1, wouldn't those 2 be your first 2?
Well,
and
yeah,
then
but I got away with the first 2 picks, so
All right.
it's a
All right.
mess
Hanson
now.
didn't
It's
put the hammer
bad.
down.
I know.
Our cover game, God of War.
Number 3.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Kratos is back.
baby.
He still has ashes on his body. Has not taken a shower in a long, long time.
That's right.
He just
every
adds
time
it back on,
Every time it
actually, every
snows, he
time.
covers up so it doesn't.
It's
just melt off.
Daddy Kratos.
Yeah, he's got an annoying kid with him.
Kratos
and
Jr.
He's in Norse mythology,
Yeah.
and it looks stunning.
You want to know a dirty secret about that game? The
Yeah.
kid, and I hope we can learn at some point in the future of this podcast what he's saying and why he's saying this. But the kid, it seems like very frequently yells out the phrase "Mista," and I don't know what it means. Every combat encounter, he yells "Mista," and it sounds like Happy Gilmore "Mista Mista."
Sounded like an Ewok when you did it.
Yeah, well, he is part Ewok. That's the
Yeah.
backstory of Norse mythology, I believe.
And Chris Judge, the actor from Stargate, is Kratos. Which
Yeah,
is cool.
Teal'c.
Yeah, Teal'c.
Teal'c.
He had a worm in his gut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's weird. I don't know. Are fans outraged about the change in voice acting? I haven't heard that much compared to something like Splinter Cell, you know?
Yeah, I don't know that. I guess for me personally, I've played all the God of War games, but I wouldn't consider myself like a huge fan of them or whatever. But I don't think Kratos' voice actor I never felt was like a key part in that
He just
series.
yells.
The way
Yeah.
David Hayter seemed like a big part of Metal Gear Solid for a long time.
Where does he rank, do you think, with Master Chief? Seems like people are pretty connected to his voice, and I would kind of put him in the same ballpark of like, I guess it's there.
I
It's a
think
deep
they
thing.
could. I could see them changing Master Chief's voice actor, but like I feel like people do remember his specific lines because they are so rare or whatever.
Yeah.
I could see people being more angry about Master Chief than Kratos, but that's just me.
Yeah. Good choice, Reiner.
Thank you.
There we go. Gameformer.com/God of War for a month of coverage. Kimberley Wallace, number 3.
I can finally go. Dragon Quest 11.
Wow. That's for sure 2018.
Yeah,
for
they
the
haven't
States.
announced platforms yet, but I think they'll do it soon. So.
Okay, so in Japan, it's already out on PS4 and 3DS.
And it's coming on Switch. So I'm hoping we're going to get the Switch version. I know they've already been doing a lot of the localization, which takes, as they told me, a long time because there's so much dialogue in a Dragon Quest game. But I figure, well, if they're already localizing it and the Japanese Switch version is like well on its way, then it seems like it would be not hard.
So the question is, can the Switch run the PS4 version of that game, which is simple-ish,
Yeah.
but still it seems pretty intense for a Switch.
They really up their graphics too for the PS4 version. I played the import, some of it, and I was pretty impressed just like with the more detail that they could put into the world than they have been able to before. So
It's an interesting question. Do we get the 3DS one on Switch or the PS4 one?
the 3DS one's
know.
cool too, though, because you can do like retro mode and stuff like that.
Yeah, do you know how this works, Reiner? Have you seen this? We're on the
No.
3DS. It's really, really sweet. So on
Yeah.
the top screen, it's like it looks like the Dragon Quest remakes, right? So it's 3D, rotate the camera and stuff. And then on the bottom screen of the 3DS, it looks like original Dragon Quest, like Famicom graphics.
Yeah.
But the bummer, which I didn't realize, is that at a certain point, a couple hours in, you have to choose which version you want to look at the rest of the game, and then it locks in on that one.
Retro, totally.
Yeah, I don't
It's
know.
a weird
about the
choice to
retro
have to
one.
make.
I know. I don't know why they wouldn't let you make it
No.
or play, both ways throughout the entire game.
It would be one of the most impactful choices you could make in a game. It's just like, how do you want the rest of this game to look?
Do you want this game to look bad? You tell us.
Matt, can you just tell me which party member to kill? That would be way easier for me.
Here's what has me super excited. We haven't had like a Dragon Quest on console in North America since 8. It's been a long time.
Included. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not including the MMO. But everything else has been on handheld. And I'm just ready for that adventure to go back to the big screen. 8 is one of my favorites just because that world was just, so engaging. And seeing what they can do, now a few years, it's been like a decade since they did that, on like on new hardware makes me super excited.
Yeah.
And I love those games. I mean, yes. I feel like what's interesting.
Yes, they're bad.
No, I feel like what's interesting with this series is like it is the longest running Japanese RPG series, and it has this hard line it has to walk where like people don't want it to change because they like it what it is, but then again you have to modernize a bit, for. So I feel like it's always in trying to please different people, and if they want this series to catch on to more people than just the core Japanese fans, I think they are aware they need to
change the name,
step it up a bit. But
yeah, Dragon Warrior 11.
Yeah.
I think just being back on consoles, I think it will have kind of a Monster Hunter effect where I think it'll grab people again in a bigger way. Friend of the show, John Ricciardi, Dragon Quest fan number 1, talked about it a lot on the 8-4 podcast, and he said it is a long game, slow start, like every Dragon Quest ever, but that by the end of like the 100-hour journey, he said it was hands down his favorite Dragon Quest ever. He said especially the characters, like by the end of the game, they really shine.
Like the ending was really satisfying too, which has me very interested. There's a ton of content in that game, which is why the localization is going to take time. So they say 2018. I'm hoping it's 2018. I'm hoping it's Switch. I'd like to play it on my Switch. Otherwise, PS4 is fine for me. But
I'm craving just a good JRPG on Switch still. We talked about it last week, the Xenoblade, how it's not quite doing it for me. Yeah. What about Lost Sphere? Kim, are you looking forward to that? That's from the creators of I Am Setsuna.
That's a no.
Right? You played it, right?
I have. I've played a good chunk of it. The thing with I Am Setsuna just was okay for me.
Yeah, it's the most okay game ever made.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and it feels so much still in that vein. And from what I played at the demo, I'm not sure they made enough. They tried to fix some things after feedback, but I don't know if they've done enough which is the main problem with that game, is like it didn't have its own identity. It was pretty much like, I'm going to strip Chrono Trigger and everything people love about Final Fantasy and those nostalgic RPGs, but didn't have like its own twist on those or way.
Snow's a twist.
Oh, hey.
Oh. Yeah, I hear you.
But that's what I worry is going to happen again. I hope that's not the case. I'm definitely going to play it, and I'm hoping for the best. But
Lost Sphere coming out in January, everybody. Please look forward to it. Number 3 for me is A Way Out. The co-op bizarre story game from Yoshis Ferris, the creator of Brothers. He's on the podcast back during E3 and whatnot. But I love co-op games. I love split-screen games specifically. And the idea of, in 2018, EA, of all people, funding this bizarre split-screen focused co-op experience, I think is awesome. And the idea that you can buy one copy and then share that with a friend. You can play online cool. and it'll still represent the other person's screen.
Good.
Yeah. I think it's going to be a great social weirdo experience. Yeah. Even if it's a mediocre game, at least it's swinging hard in a very bold direction. And I'm looking forward to it. Suriel, number 2.
My number 2 is Red Dead Redemption 2.
Oh, that was my number 1.
That's my number 1.
That's fine, everybody. We talk about it now. That's how this system works. Relax.
You guys are going to get to talk about it. It's not like it's illegal for you to talk about it now.
I wanted
get
to
a
say
horse
it first.
All right.
So got a cowboy hat.
We talked about it last year on this very
podcast. It was my number 1 last year. Yeah. I was actually thinking of that. I was like, my number 1 last year.
Here's my question for you, Suriel, is since we talked about it last year, have any details of the game made you more excited? Or is it still just the fact that it's a sequel to one of the greatest games ever that has you excited?
I think the focus on like having a posse over just like playing as John Marston and like playing one
they
of
call it posse control.
Yeah. Your insane cowboy posse, absolutely. But just having the ability to like the potential for there to be character swapping or like even something like something loosely class based where it's just like this one character is like a sniper and this other character has like dual pistols or whatever. That could be really pretty cool. And some of the story details we've seen, I think, like
returning characters,
that stuff I think is really interesting. But a lot of it still is riding high on the idea of like just an up-res Red Dead with like more expanded options and like a more dense world, something on the level of like GTA 5, I think could be pretty cool.
What if instead of Red Dead 2, I gave you Red Dead 1 on Steam with like full modding support? Which game would you take?
Like if you said like this year or like right now you get Red Dead but Red Dead 2 gets delayed, I would have to think about it.
It would delay it 2 years.
Oh God, I don't know.
Would you take that?
I don't know.
No.
I really want to play Red Dead on
for us.
I guess I'll have to take the sequel just because you can play it.
All right, teach their own. I'm in a camp. I'm actually cooling on Red Dead 2. The more I see of it, it's bizarre. But just more thinking about Red Dead 1. Love that game. Mainly, it's like crazy outdoor environments. I feel like so many open world experiences have given us an extremely beautiful version of like the outdoors at this point and just the great wilderness, where I don't know if that is appealing as much anymore. And also so much of it was John Marston. Like I love that character. I love the voice acting. And what's the from the trailers, what's the new guy's name?
Oh, I don't.
Duke Lacrosse.
Sure.
He seems fine.
Yeah.
But I'm still not sold based on what they've shown so far. Outside of just visually, it looks solid.
They showed very little, though.
Yeah, but I just want
that's
some
why it's so
detail.
exciting.
Yeah.
I just think it's exciting. I love, as you said, I love that first game so much, and I'm ready for a new adventure. You know, in the Red Dead world, like.
They still make the best open world games. And for them to tout this as like a reinvention, kind of like in their first statement, like, we're really changing up open world again. Like, what does that mean?
Just the idea of
what is that
being their first project on like next gen consoles.
It's
and
been
stuff.
5 years.
And we're going to have multiplayer too. Like,
I'm very curious about what they do for Red Dead Online. Because I love Red Dead 1's multiplayer. It's so bizarre. Just the entire world is like a lobby.
Yeah.
It's such a unique system. Good choice, Suriel. You really nailed it. Reiner, number 2.
Another slam dunk. My whole list, just slam dunk. Just perfect.
NBA Jam.
Last of Us 2. Part 2.
You think 2018?
Mm-hmm.
Did they say 2018?
No.
I feel like
they haven't said anything.
So this
but I'm putting it this
wishful
this
thinking.
fall.
Okay.
Naughty Dog's insane. They'll get it done. They better for this list.
I don't think it's coming 2018.
It's going to be amazing.
I listened to an interview, the AIAS, what is that? Academy of Arts and Interactive Sciences.
The Academy of Interactive Arts and Sciences.
They have a podcast, I think we've talked about before, that Ted Price hosts, talking to other game developers, and he recently had Neil Druckmann on, and Neil Druckmann said something which maybe was obvious and just stupid, but he said like, the first trailer for Last of Us Part 2, like that's not actually in the game. That was just kind of a tone piece. So don't see Joel walking into that room as an actual scene and moment that's going to be in the actual game. What else has you excited about this game other than
well, I'll say,
hammers?
You know how you said you were souring on Red Dead just the more you thought about it. The second footage we saw of Last of Us kind of disgusted me.
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh man, that is just brutal. Why did they show that?
Yeah.
So I'm a little worried about it maybe getting a little darker. Also, I mean, if it can.
As opposed to the lighthearted affair.
What was that?
David character was a real hoot.
What was that? Like 3 minutes of just pure
it's really
violence
hard
and torture?
for me to watch people get tortured in games, just in general. Just like in movies, there's a level.
But Neil Druckmann's back. But Bruce Straley's gone, who is one of the directors.
To help him, the girl from Westworld.
Haley Gross.
Yes, thank you.
But unproven in the game space at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll have to see. But that first game is one of my favorites of all time. So how can I not be excited for a return to that world?
Yeah, a lot of pressure on those folks. We didn't talk about it, but last week, news broke that apparently the creative director of Uncharted Lost Legacy left Naughty Dog, Sean, and he seemed to be hinting that he's going to be working in the Avengers project over with Crystal Dynamics. That's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder how that works, because as of now, Neil Druckmann is still just director for Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
But the director of Uncharted Lost Legacy is now floating around. And I'm curious if he's going to be brought onto that project in a big way. And then
to write and direct Tony Stark, maybe. He's very Nathan Drake-like.
Oh, interesting for Sean going over. Yeah. Could be. Although I don't think Sean wrote on Uncharted 4, so he, in theory, hasn't had a chance to write for Nathan Drake.
There you go.
But, all right. Number 2, Kim.
Oh, this should shock no one. And I'll tell you, might have been number one if not for a few things. But Kingdom Hearts 3.
Hey, there we go.
Hey,
That's not 2018.
They said 2018. They made a big deal out of it. Of course, Square also made a big deal about Final Fantasy's release date and then delayed it. So,
yes.
I have been waiting a long time for this game, which is why it gets docked down to number 2. I feel
really?
like.
You can only stay so excited for
Red
so
Dead.
long?
Well, yeah, because I thought that I was going to be playing this game in the PS3 era, right?
Yeah.
That's actually one of the reasons I'm like, oh, I'll buy my PS3 because, you know, eventually Kingdom Hearts 3 will be on there and, you know, I'll kill time with other games and...
Along with Persona 5 and
now
the
that
next
they've got
Anthem.
Pixar worlds in there and Toy Story I love
Yeah.
and there's rumors because there's been like some leak stuff that's not confirmed, but Monsters Inc. was shown and
Wait, shown how?
What?
yeah, there was like leaked images.
really?
Yeah, where you're really, like, I don't know if they're real or not, but so next month is D23 in Japan, and that is where Kingdom Hearts makes all their big announcements every D23. So I think they'll announce another world there.
So what worlds have they announced? Hercules,
Yes.
Toy Story,
Brave, right? No,
Brave?
Tangled.
Tangled, Big Hero
Big
6.
Big Hero 6.
That's a
yeah.
weird one.
Okay, is that it?
That shows how long
I
that
think
game's been
that's
in
it.
the works.
Honestly, it was like, hey, Big Hero 6, it's hitting theaters this summer. Let's announce this world, you know?
Yeah.
Now people are like, oh, I guess I watched a movie when I was a
No.
kid.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's Tangled. Sorry, I mix up Brave and Tangled. all
Okay,
the
yeah.
time. We're still I'm still holding out hope for a Frozen World. I would
Oh,
love
that would make so much
Monsters Inc.
sense. Yeah.
Honestly, that's probably one of my favorites.
Star Wars.
Black
My
Hole.
favorite Disney World.
I mean, it is Disney now.
I mean, they
Yeah.
could do Inside Out too.
Now they can do Pandora because they own Avatar.
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
Aliens.
see.
But
X-Files
Supergirl.
World.
Yeah, Marvel Cinematic
we're all
Universe,
hoping for.
Deadpool.
I don't think will ever happen, but we're all hoping for that Star Wars collaboration.
Yeah, or
Mickey
Marvel.
Mouse versus
Yeah.
Luke Skywalker.
Okay, a Keyblade turning into a lightsaber is just going to be
Just
amazing.
a
Makes sense.
Keyblade lightsaber, yeah.
That's,
And
you know that's going to be the teaser trailer for Kingdom Hearts 4. It's going to end with just a dark room and then just the light coming on.
I just think that'd probably have to be a nightmare to coordinate and get signed off on.
Ugh, yeah, that's tough.
But I'd love it.
Yeah, I mean, Nomura,
And
who's
Ray
the
would be
director.
with you. That would be awesome.
What's that?
And Ray would like be your buddy. And
I mean, they did it in Disney Infinity.
Yeah, they got wacky with that.
They got it all together.
But Nomura's directing this game, right? Kingdom Hearts 3?
Yes.
And then he's also directing the 7 remake.
Yeah, I asked him about that when I was. I got to interview him a few months back with the Toy Story reveal, and I said, "How are you splitting your time and doing both?" Because Nomura is notorious for having games in long development cycles, and I was a little worried about that. He seems to say when one is like ramping up, the other is ramping down, and he just alternates between them. But
Meaning like big cycles. So in theory,
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts 3 is ramping down and now 7's ramping up.
or vice versa. Like when he
Vice
really,
versa?
like when Kingdom Hearts ramping up, he then will focus on that, and then it'll get to a point where everything's steady, and then he'll go into. Anyways, I have a feeling he has way more involvement in Kingdom Hearts 3 because I think they have a lot of people who can contribute to 7, but Kingdom Hearts is kind of his thing and his vision and his convoluted story. So I don't think you can have other people really dealing with that. But gosh, the game, just some of the stuff they're doing is just insane. The attractions that you can do.
What does that mean?
So there's this thing called attraction flow where like your like attractions like teacups and big is it Big Magic Mountain?
Wait, so it's
Big
like
Thunder
rides
Mountain.
from
Big Thunder-
Disneyland?
Yeah, rides, and they're part of your attacks that you can use. And then you also
wait. So you
you're-
have like Pirates of the Caribbean as an attack?
Yep.
What the hell? God damn it,
A
Kingdom
ship.
Hearts.
So it's so cool. And then also you have Keyblade transformations where they can turn into just about anything. Like at one point he had like Hercules like carriage and Pegasus come out of his Keyblade. Like it's insanity. They're
That's
just
all right.
upping the ante, and you know, Nomura made a good comment when I was there. He's like, we're trying to do everything in this one that people like to show that anything is now possible in the series. So
Except for shipping.
That's right.
hey,
Anyways.
I'm hoping they stick to the 2018. But I wouldn't be surprised if it slips.
Yeah. Who knows? My number 2. was my number one last year. State of Decay 2. Still waiting on that one.
Yeah,
even if it's
we haven't heard any updates on that game.
No, E3. Maybe they showed it at Gamescom. I don't
time?
know, but I saw a demo at E3. It's exciting. The idea of playing State of Decay in co-op sounds fantastic.
Yeah, that's what we wanted.
Yeah, tension in an open world. I just want more of that. State of Decay 2. Please give it to me now.
I've never played State of Decay, so like when I see it really high up on like a lot of the lists we read, I'm just like, I guess that just for me just kind of came out of nowhere. Of just like I'd never heard people talk about how good State of Decay was until I basically started working here.
And
it's
just because no one at Giant Bomb liked it, I think.
Yeah, and then like I mean on like even on Twitter, I don't think anyone like mentioned like, oh man, I'm still playing State of Decay 2. It's so good. Like I'm curious as to what it is about State of Decay that sort of like
getting survivors, managing resources, hunting for resources,
Stardew Valley aspects of it.
There is a weird sim
yeah.
aspect because you're like building up your home base, adding on to it, and then also it's permadeath for all these characters. So you're going around the world trying to recruit new people, hoping they survive, going out scavenging for resources, and it's just honestly PUBG ate a little bit of its lunch, which is a weird comparison, just for like having those tense moments when you're like rummaging through a house and you hear a noise and it's like, oh my god.
So is it multiplayer?
No. It's just against zombies
coming
out.
in
The
the first
ate a lot of games lunch.
like vehicles running out of gas. Like when you go way out there
so
and you're like, oh man, nightfall's coming.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
screwed.
Yes.
So it just happened to be like the most like intricate sort of zombie outbreak simulator that was also still kind of an action game.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it was a janky mess, and hopefully they can polish State of Decay 2 in a big way, but that could be the biggest game for Xbox next year.
Yeah,
and that could be why we haven't heard from them.
Yeah.
Crackdown, Sea of Thieves, maybe a Halo announcement.
I bet Halo 6 is next year.
It's time, right?
Well, they need
it's
it.
time.
They had that pulled announcement like at some conference, didn't they? Like where they were going to announce something and then they got pushed back, or is that for 5?
Really? I guess I don't
I thought
remember
that
that.
Huh.
Maybe
I think for Xbox One X, they showed like Master Chief's face, and they kind of hinted that they were going to be working on something. But I think Halo 6 is safe to assume in 2018. Hey, number one, Suriel, what do you got, man?
Dragon Ball FighterZ.
Number one.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I think I very briefly considered putting the beta for that game on my top 10 list like last year.
Really?
Yeah, I really enjoyed that beta. Of just like, I mean, we played it at Arxis and then at Namco, but like that beta was sort of the moment where it kind of clicked for me of just like, okay, here's how combat flows. And I realized how much I like sort of that Guilty Gear style, because I reviewed the Guilty Gear expansion, and I think sort of playing the game as a whole, I realized this is maybe probably the best fighting game of the generation so far.
Really?
But like,
this is Excerpt Revelator?
Yeah, Excerpt, Revelator, Rev 2, like they're expansions of the same game basically.
Excerpt, Revelator, Rev 2. Everybody.
Well, it's Guilty Gear Excerpt Rev 2 is the current name of the game. But like the thing that even though I like I'm astounded by that art style, I didn't really click with the actual art of the characters, of just like very overly designed, but like lots of belt buckles and stuff like that. Stuff didn't really click with me that much.
Some Nomura stuff.
But seeing characters that I actually like have a fondness for, like all your favorite like Goku, Android 18, things like that, and just
they've
seeing,
announced more since we last talked about it, like what Beerus and Kid
Beerus,
Trunks
Hit,
Hit.
Goku Black, just like seeing all like a combination of favorite characters and just like new characters in the Dragon Ball universe, I think is super cool. And like playing that beta, I was really excited about how well those battles flow, and I'm excited to like have different team members, and the story mode stuff they talked about seems pretty crazy. I do have a couple reservations of just like the lobby system in the beta was very go into the US lobby and then hit the Canada US East lobby. And I think they did that in Guilty Gear, but they also have sort of just a fine match. Like it was all based on like online lobbies that stratified you in like, I am the best player in Canada and US East.
So you want worldwide rankings? Is that
yeah, what I want is just let me like in that beta there wasn't a thing where it's just find me a match.
Right.
Like so that I'm a little trepidatious about that. I'm a little worried that the battles go on for a little too long in some cases, but that's more of a viewership problem, not a gameplay problem. Like playing the game, I didn't feel like I was playing forever. But I have been thinking about that game a lot since I played it, and I'm really, really excited for it.
Yeah. This we haven't talked about it since we talked about it probably way too much on the podcast a while back, but they also finally revealed what those Dragon Balls are all about.
Yes.
So as you fight and do combos, you unlock Dragon Balls along the way?
So the theory that we mentioned on the podcast of like if you do a 10-hit combo, you get the 1-star Dragon Ball in it, etc. So once you unlock all those, basically the next person to land like I think a heavy hit will get to choose like a wish. One of them is like you get to revive a party member with like a quarter of their health. You can heal yourself up. You can have like infinite meter. And one of them is like a combination of like meter and health, I think. And basically that is the thing that the Dragon Balls do. And people were kind of like, you should be able to turn that off, or is like that should that be a core part of the game? It's like not doing a combo because you think the other person will land the first hit after that. So I'm interested in the metagame that might create. But I could also just see it like in like high level play that people just turning it off if that's not the case. But that is an interesting thing that I think could make that game a little more interesting. But even if it didn't have that, I would still be super excited for Dragon Ball.
It's going to be the best looking game of 2018, right?
Yeah, I think it definitely has a chance of being the best looking game of 2018.
Forget chance, Suriel. Lock it in. It's going to be
all right. I'm already writing up the entry.
There we go.
for best graphics.
Reiner, you're number 1, I believe you said.
Red Dead.
There we go. Kim, you're number 1, I believe you said. There we go. My number 1. Jurassic World Evolution.
Really?
Yes.
Shocker. I'm not shocked by this at all.
This is the sim theme park generator from Frontier. They're making Jurassic World Evolution. The only thing that has me worried about this game, because it sounds like just the perfect recipe.
For Ben Hanson.
Well, I think for a large section of the population, at least like 33% of the world's population. But it is any sort of Jurassic World 2 tie-in, The Fallen Kingdom, because that trailer for that movie, I've watched it
amazing
again and again.
It's really hitting all those notes that you want.
Boy, that seems bad. Did you guys watch that trailer?
Yeah,
no.
That was all right.
Really?
Yeah, dinosaurs running, people yelling.
Okay.
Everything I could possibly want from
What do you want from
dinosaurs running, people?
Oh, did you wear that shirt
everything.
just for this reason?
Yeah, if you're listening to the audio version, wearing a cool shirt.
What do you want from a Jurassic World movie?
From a Jurassic World sequel? I think it maybe is even going this way. What they talked about was the idea of the ability to create dinosaurs and manipulate DNA and whatnot, that going open source, and like everybody around the world, it's this weird arms race of everybody designing their own dinosaurs.
Just a bunch of penis-shaped dinosaurs walking around.
It's not Spore. Grow up,
right,
Suriel.
sorry.
But I think that's an exciting idea of just like trying to maintain this global arms race with dinosaur tech. And I'm hoping that the movie's still going to go in that direction, because the director, actually Colin Trevorrow, who's the producer now, he said that all the footage from that first trailer was from the first half of the movie.
Yeah, because it looks like the island is in big trouble.
Well, there's a dumb volcano going on. It just
I mean,
that
kind of hints at they're leaving, right?
Right. I guess so. And so they're going to round up all these dinosaurs, and then I don't know how much globetrotting they can do in the back half of one movie, but I hope that it is this weird Mission Impossible style thing where they're going around the globe and trying to wrangle a T-Rex in the desert, you know? That's what I want, Reiner. But with this actual game, which seems, I think, more promising than maybe the Jurassic World sequel, I am very excited. We played Operation Genesis not too long ago in replay. Had a wonderful time. Yeah. Absolutely. The idea of like taking modern sensibilities, city skylines-esque sensibilities, and applying it to the Jurassic Park formula. So much fun. So much fun. The potential is there.
Safe bet on their part to develop that game. I think
that seems like they're the
right team to do it too.
Yeah, the Jurassic Park game people have wanted for a while.
Exactly. I feel like it's in the same vein as Dragon Ball FighterZ, where it's like, just make this. It's what the license clearly demands. And finally, in the second big way, and it's going to be nice to see it on Steam and also on consoles. Yeah. Although I'm a little worried about them adapting the console controls and if that's going to influence the PC version. I wish it was just Steam, but
City Skylines works.
That's true.
And if it doesn't work, then they can just add a PUBG mode and have 100 dinosaurs on an island trying to kill each other.
That's a really, really good idea. Great idea. Absolutely. But hey, do you guys have any remainders you want to fly through super quick?
I do. I got 3.
Yeah, go for it.
I got Spider-Man.
Of course.
Spider-Man.
That looks really fun. Insomniac games.
Yeah.
They're great. Far Cry 5.
Of course.
Looks
Montana.
very good.
Finally,
and then Metro Exodus.
Oh,
those games are great.
Yeah, and Exodus.
Underappreciated.
Yeah, Metro.
Probably.
That's been a pretty good series.
Do you think that one's going to hit a new audience?
Maybe. Yeah.
It's got a train in it, Reiner.
Yeah, it's true.
It does.
Trains are very
Snow.
in right now.
And snow. Both of those are hits.
Yeah. I have some overflow here as well, Reiner. A
boy.
Metal Gear game is coming out this year.
That's true.
Metal Gear Survive coming out February 20th. That's surprisingly soon. We're going to be playing a new Metal Gear with a single-player story. Even if it's a nightmare, I am so curious about
microtransactions and loot boxes, but we'll see.
What if it's the best Metal Gear ever?
Just
What's the narrative
on
that
Metacritic
happens
or
there?
whatever.
Here's all I'm going to say. I played it at TGS, and I had fun.
See?
But I feel like every time like Joe played it and it was like the running theme of that game is just like it's not as bad as you think.
Yes, absolutely.
But yeah, like Metal Gear Solid 5 plays super well, so just the idea of it being able to do more stuff with that combat system, I think is enough to be excited about it.
Yes. Thank you, Suriel. Thank you.
Yeah. They didn't announce it for 2018, but I'm also excited for Bayonetta 3.
Oh, yeah. The Switch port's release coming for 1 and 2, coming early in 2018. Another one for me is an open world action RPG, Biomutant.
Yeah.
Yes.
From Experiment 101. It's
That
kind
one
of like
looks cool.
Yeah, former development team members from the Just Cause series at Avalanche split off, and they're making this bizarro game where you play a mutated raccoon. And the cool thing is like certain elements from Evo Search for Eden, which comes up all the time on this podcast, right? Where you're like tweaking your actual genetics and DNA to give yourself like wings or just replacing different body parts on this freaky raccoon. And just seeing like a, not cartoony, but more abstract animal-based open world action RPG where your character is a gun or a sword. It just looks wild.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Sky from that game company.
Sure.
We haven't had a game since Journey from those folks.
Mobile game, right?
Initially, it's going to be coming to other systems later on. Hot Lava from Clay. It's like Mirror's Edge, but from a
Hot
fun
Lava.
kiddie perspective. Yeah. And then, do you guys remember that game, Pray for the Gods?
Yeah.
It's still coming 2018.
Okay.
This is the Shadow of the Colossus inspired game, all set in the snow. And the funny thing was,
it's a hit.
See, it was it got in trouble with having Prey in the title because Bethesda trademarked Prey.
Yeah, that's right.
So literally, what they did, I didn't know this till researching it today. They changed the name of the game to Pray for the Gods. So it's spelled Praey.
Also an acceptable spelling of that word.
What? Why not just change it to the other form of pray? You don't have to shove an A and an E in there. Yuck.
So what else do you think we're getting this year? That's not announced. I think there's going to be a new Fallout.
I think there's going to be new Smash Brothers.
New Smash Brothers.
Brand new, or
I think
a
we'll
port?
see it. I don't think it'll come out, but I think we'll see it. I think they'll release. They could maybe release a port of the Wii U one,
Totally.
maybe this year, and then like by the end of the year we'll see like the new one.
No.
Okay.
Honestly, it's like my favorite series. It's certainly up there. But I don't even want them to make a new one. Just
you don't want
port
to make
Wii
another
U
one?
and add a couple more characters. Like that's more than enough. That Wii U game is so good. Yes, Kim?
No, I was like, I don't know if this is officially, if it was made official or not, but there's leaks about a new Tomb Raider game.
Oh yeah, Shadow of the
right.
Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that I love that series, so I would be excited if that came out this year.
Yeah, and there's the old leak coming from someone reading marketing materials on the subway that it's going to be Eidos Montreal making it. It says
Yeah,
Fist
yeah.
Running
There's
MX,
all
that'll be
those
interesting.
leaks, so we have a feeling it's coming.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it'll make it 2018.
Shadow of the Tomb Raider is the rumored title.
Yeah.
Where do you think they could go with Laura's story?
In a tomb.
Ah, that's pretty
Yeah.
good.
I hope to a more interesting place. I always get disappointed by what they do with that character. So
Really?
Where was she? In the first one, it was Bermuda Triangle type of thing,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And then
I
the
just-
second one, she was in
Oh yeah,
Asia.
The Himalayas,
Some
or something.
sort of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
they always say they're gonna make her more complex, and she just ends up just kind of, for me, running the same course that she always has. And
Well, maybe you can watch the movie coming out this year to help.
I'm actually
reinforce
I saw the
personality.
trailer when I went to see Star Wars, the trailer for the movie, and I was like, you know what, that actually looks kind of fun. I want to see it.
It's crazy how it is just directly that reboot game storyline.
Yeah,
It's weird to see on the big
I'm
screen.
Hey, I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah. All right. hey, that's it, everybody. 2018.
We did it.
Good year to look forward to.
It's going to be amazing.
Here's hoping.
10% of these games hit.
Yes, and that's probably the correct
We'll be talking
here.
about some of these probably next year when we do the same podcast.
Yeah. I really look forward
saving
to
my
it.
list.
Thank you so much for watching this excerpt from the Game Informer Show podcast. You can subscribe to the audio version and listen to new episodes airing every Thursday. We cover big games on the horizon, games that we've just reviewed. We have long-form developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So check it out every Thursday.